On the eve of Alexander Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's record, Sidney Crosby, who has already broken a Wayne Gretzky record this season, scores a hat trick and the Penguins defeat the Stars. My name is Scott McGregor, and this is Penguins Postgame. Pens, Stars, let's talk about it right now. You're locked in to Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. He shoots, he scores. The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins postgame. A PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Hello, everyone, and welcome in to another episode of Penguins Postgame. This is one of many that we will be getting to you, including our St. Louis Blues recap, which was the game before this one. We also have an Ottawa Senators show to give to you, and we also have the game against Florida to get to you. We will get those to you when we can on Sports for Beginners. But first and foremost, this game happened on the eve of Alexander Ovechkin staring down history with the great one. So before we get started breaking down this game with our head coaches and our matchup in goal for the Stars and the Penguins, if you are a Washington Capitals fan listening to this show right now, stand up and cheer loud and proud for your boy, your captain, number 8, the great 8, Alexander Ovechkin. Just a few moments ago, as the Penguins prepare for battle against the Chicago Blackhawks later on tonight, Alexander Ovechkin has broken Wayne Gretzky's record for the most goals in the history of the National Hockey League. Congratulations, Alex. Looking forward to watching that highlight over and over and over again. Not to steal the words from Penguins captain and my favorite player, Sidney Crosby, but it has been an honor getting to watch you play hockey. To Sid's point, you accomplished so many milestones, but this right here takes the cake. This one right here will take the cake. You passed the great one, and now we're talking about the great 8 in Mr. Alex Ovechkin. Alex, enjoy this victory with your friends and family and your teammates. Regardless of what the outcome of the Islander game is, which is going on right now, enjoy this. You deserve it. You worked hard to get it done. And today, you got it done, my friend. All right, turning back the clock to Saturday, April 5th, 2025. Penguins and Stars. As we like to open up our Penguins post-game shows, we always like to open up with the head coaching matchup and the goaltending matchup. We are going to, for the sake of time, we are going to just focus for the opening segment on who the coaches are for this game. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they are none other than Mike Sullivan and Peter DeBoer. Peter D. If I pronounced that wrong, Peter, I apologize. And a quick little flashback here on Penguins postgame. The Penguins were beat 7-1 back on November the 11th in Pittsburgh when these two teams clashed for the first time in their 2024-2025 season series. With that said, they clashed yesterday as part of a back-to-back for Pittsburgh. And they say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, it was definitely served cold in this one at the American Airlines Center on Saturday. And I believe game time, if I'm not mistaken, was at 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe. If I am not mistaken. I'm going to make sure I check that just to be sure. But we'll get to that when I'm in my break. Speaking of the first commercial break of the show, we do still have some time here, so while we are still in our opening segment, let's bring you the matchup at the American Airlines Center for goal. Those who were in goal. Again, my name is Scott McGregor. I'm the host of Penguins Postgame here on Sports for Beginners, and of course on the ice and behind the benches every Wednesday off day the Penguins have this season. And of course, it also happens to go down after every Penguins hockey game. That might change next season, but I'll give you the down low on if that is the case when we get to the last game of the season. All right. No more interruptions. Goaltending match. Tristan Jarry once again getting called to the ice for the Pittsburgh Penguins, being backed up by Alex Nedeljkovic. So Nedeljkovic to the backup for Jarry. We had Jake Ottinger be the backup to former Penguin Casey D. Smith, who would get the start for Dallas. Goaltending numbers on the backup were 39 for the Penguins and 29 for the Stars. Number 1 for the Stars got the start. Against number 35, who got the start for the Penguins. Linesperson and referees. The referees were Gord Dwyer and Braden Schrader, wearing numbers 19 and 34. Linesperson wearing the numbers 86 and 95. Jesse Marquise and Johnny Murray. Alrighty. I'd say it's about time we get into the action, shall we? We do have a little bit of time here, so we will continue on our opening segment by bringing you who was penalized in the opening portion of our show. No penalties called in the third period of play, so we will have the third period highlights for you in the scoring summary of the game. That coming up in our second segment. But as we are 9 minutes into the show here on our opening segment, let's go ahead and talk penalties. We'll start with those taken by Dallas. First penalty for Dallas came at 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the first period of play as Mason Marchment is nabbed for a 2-minute minor for tripping. Christopher Letang on the draw of the penalty. Ilya Lyubushkin takes Dallas's second penalty of the game. He is nabbed for a 2-minute minor of hooking against Rutger McGroarty. Rutger, if I pronounced the last name wrong, I apologize. And last but certainly not least, Roope Hintz receives a 2-minute minor for tripping Vali Kolovin, or VK as I will call him. If I pronounced the name wrong, I apologize. Was on the draw for that penalty. Speaking of Roope Hintz, of course, that penalty was at 8 minutes and 37 seconds into the second period, the opening penalty of the period. Ilya Lyubushkin coming at 14 minutes and 32 seconds. Mason Marchment at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Penguins only took 2 penalties. Both went to Christopher Letang. The first one in the first period occurred 21 seconds in, and that was against Colin Blackwell, a 2-minute minor for hooking. Roope Hintz then drew a holding penalty against Letang at 10 minutes and 55 seconds. All right, we are just about 12 minutes into the show here. Well, we're actually we're coming up on 12 minutes into the show. So when we continue on our Dallas Stars Penguins post-game show, how did the scoring happen? What were the stats for the game? What were the stats on goal by period? How many faceoffs were thrown in this game? Which 3 guys got lucky enough to get the 3 stars of the game? We talk about that and more when Penguins postgame continues. Penguins and Stars continue on Penguins postgame right after this with the scoring, 3 stars of the game, and game totals coming up next.
Hello? How are you, my friend? Why? What's the matter? Why feeling bored and lonely? Look at me! I am always happy. The only reason I can tell you CNT Radio. All the best shows you can think of. The Melting Pot, the Cosmopolitan Culture Club, and the Song Bank. There are also many more new shows to come. Please make sure to visit her website at http://sienna-wordpress.com/sienna-radio. Oh, now I can hear you more cheerful.
CNT Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
The games continue to get shorter and shorter for the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Dallas Stars. But you could say that they are not out of it. Well, one thing for sure, Dallas has clinched a playoff berth as we speak. So the Penguins are not out of it yet. But they need to jump the Islanders, Blue Jackets, Red Wings, and Rangers to have any hope of making the playoffs this year. However, as the games get smaller, it's looking pretty good when it comes down to the action for the Penguins in terms of draft picks. But we will talk about those a little bit later. Maybe I'll talk about it more on the next Penguins post-game show, which is a part of the back-to-back. The Penguins are playing again tonight. They will take on the already eliminated Chicago Blackhawks tonight. Seems like a pretty good win for me. But we will see how the Penguins fare against the Hawks. That is a home-and-home series, by the way, that we will talk about in a little bit. Oh, but here we go. This is the part of the show I said after we went over the penalties that we were going to get into the game. We talked about the penalties, coaches, officiating crew, and we also talked about our goaltending matchup, as we always like to do. But before we got into any of that, we talked about Alexander Ovechkin. Now, this again, the game that we are talking about right now, was on the eve of Alex doing what he did today. So again, I want to extend congratulations out to Alexander Ovechkin. Regardless on the outcome of the hockey game, for the Capitals and the Islanders. I actually hope the Islanders lose that game. I really do. As a Penguins fan, because that would be really good for Pittsburgh. That would be really good for Pittsburgh. So go. Go Caps, go. Let's go Washington. Let's go Caps. If Pittsburgh is able to beat the Blackhawks today, let's just say the Islanders might be in a bit of trouble. So let's go Caps. I want Washington to win this game. Go get them. Go get them, Caps. This could be good news for the Penguins if the Capitals win. But we will see. All right. No more interruptions. Want to also make sure that we get a chance to get to the 3 stars of the game. Let's talk about this one. Hey, welcome back to the lineup, Gino. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Evgeny Malkin is back in the Penguins lineup after missing quite a bit of games, including the game against the Blues. And of course, he was out of the game. He was out for that. He was out against the Blues. And of course, he finds himself out against other opponents, except for the last team that he played. But he returned to the lineup. He returned into the lineup in yesterday's game against the Dallas Stars and got a helper on one of Crosby's 3 goals of the game. The first goal for Crosby was the first power play goal for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh with a power play goal. Now both teams only connected on the power play once. But Sid scored 3 times. The first one was on the power play goal, PPG for PGH. His 28th goal of the season. Evgeny Malkin, fresh off the injured list, picking up assist number 32 on the season. Christopher Letang, we mentioned Letang took 2 penalties. Well, he picks up an assist in this one. His 21st assist of the season. Penguins go up 1-0 on Dallas with the early lead on the power play. But don't think that's going to stop Evgeny Dadonov. He scores twice in this one. His first goal ties up the game. And that is scored as his 17th goal of the season. And I'm not sure who this guy's name is. Back. I'm going to find out who he is. Number 10. Oscar Bach, I should say. If I pronounced that wrong, I apologize. Picking up his 12th assist of the season. Another dude picking up an assist for the Stars is number 6 of the Stars. That's Lion Bichelle. We're gonna go with LB and O and OB for those assists. 5th assist of the season for LB. After the goal by Crosby came at 4 minutes and 16 seconds to give the Penguins the lead, Evgeny Dadonov ties it up 10 minutes and 43 seconds later. He also gives Dallas the lead with his 18th goal of the season. Matt Duchene and Matt Dumba picking up assists on this one. First period, after the first period of play, we're all tied up at 1 goal apiece. Stars 1, Penguins 1. Second period goes in, and guess what? After 40, it's the Stars with the lead on an Evgeny Dadonov power play goal. 12 minutes and 36 seconds in. His 18th goal of the season, second of the game. And he scored a hat trick too. In fact, he got his before Crosby did. Matt Duchene, by the way, with assist number 49 on the season. Matt Dumba with assist number 8. After 40 minutes, the Stars are on top by a goal. It's 2-1 Stars. Third period, and here's where things get interesting. First, Crosby scores his second goal of the game. Number 29 on the season for Crosby. Rutger McGroarty, his second assist of the season. So 20 seconds in to the third period, the Penguins are back in a tie. It's 2-2. 20 seconds into the third, Evgeny Dadonov makes his 19th goal of the season, be the game leader. Thomas Harley and Ilya Lyubushkin picking up assists. For Ilya Lyubushkin, it's his 13th assist of the season. For Thomas Harley, it's assist number 33 on the year. It's 3-2. It's 3-2 Stars. That came 3 minutes and 11 seconds in. So Crosby scores quickly, 20 seconds in. And then just a couple of minutes later, after Evgeny Dadonov scores his hat trick and third goal of the game, we get back to tie. Oh, and guess who it is? The guy who's running what inspired our Player of the Game segment, the Shake of the Game. Guess who it is? It's Brian Rust. Which means anytime Brian Rust scores, head on over to the Milkshake Factory for half off Rusty Shakes ahead of the next episode, No, not next episode. Ahead of the next Penguins game, whenever that may be. So you got another rusty shake half off that you can enjoy, and you probably are enjoying, as we get into these shows that I've mentioned off the top of the show that we will try to get to you, including this one. When we can, that is. In any case, Brian Rust's 28th goal of the season makes it 3-3. Crosby with his 56th assist of the season. And the Penguins have tied this one back up at 8 minutes and 49 seconds in. Blake Lizotte keeps the party going for Pittsburgh. Uh-oh, here comes Pittsburgh. Here come the Berg. Here comes the Berg. His 11th goal of the season makes it 4-3 Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh back in the lead. Danton Heinen. Assist number 18 on the season for Danton Heinen. Time of the goal, 18 minutes, 17 seconds. At 18 minutes and 45 seconds, Dallas is down a goal. They need a goal by Jari. They need a goal past Tristan Jari. They've pulled Casey DeSmet. And Crosby puts it right on target for his 30th goal of the season. And, of course, that means that Crosby, along with Evgeny Dadonov, both have hat tricks. Connor Timmins, with his 11th assist of the season. It is 5-3 Penguins over the Stars. And that's how it would end. Time now for your stats of the game. But you know what? We are going to flip that into our little stats segment. So when we return to Penguins postgame, which three lucky players ended up on the 3 stars of the game? Who's got the lucky play of the game? What were the stats by period and for the game? You'll find out when we return to Penguins postgame. Stay with us. Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners. Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches.
I wonder if I could make it. It's almost getting to 8 o'clock p.m., and I am still a few more steps away from home to get to my computer to listen to CNT Radio's Cosmopolitan Culture Club. The best of the best music from around the world. Can't wait! I think I made it! CNT Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Penguins 5, Stars 3 on the eve of the day that we have just been celebrating since we began this recap. That's right, in case you didn't hear it early on our show, off the top, Alexander Ovechkin has broken the Great Ones record. What was a record of 896. The most goals in the National Hockey League history, in the history of the National Hockey League. What was a record of 896. 894, excuse me, to be more specific. What was a record of 894 has become a record of 895 with Washington Capitals captain Alexander Ovechkin breaking that record in a 4-1 loss to the New York Islanders. So the team may have lost the game, but hockey fans and Capitals fans and Islanders Nation were treated to a ceremony in the second period of play to commemorate Alexander Ovechkin's momentous milestone. If you didn't hear it early on, I'll repeat it one more time. Alex, enjoy this moment. It was a bittersweet moment because you guys lost this game, but it's a big moment for you, your family, your friends, teammates, former teammates, and the NHL in general. Because you, that's right, you, Alex Ovechkin, are now the top leader. Yes, are now the top leader. You are now the top leader with the most goals in the history of the National Hockey League. I salute you, Mr. Great 8. I salute you, Great 8. That's right. I salute you, Mr. Great 8. I salute you, Alex Ovechkin. All right, let's talk about the game that we have been talking about, because we got another one to talk about in a little bit, in about less than 2 hours from now, I think. Maybe it's in 1 hour. Regardless, let's get back to the action, shall we? Here we go. As we mentioned before the break, we took a quick intermission to talk about our scoring right after we talked about penalties. So now we're going to get into the scoring. In this case, the stats of the game. Not the scoring in general, the scoring by stats. And here are your stats for the game. On the day the Pittsburgh Penguins ended a 7-game winning streak for the Dallas Stars. We'll start with the shots on goal and go by period in the game. So in the first period, and we'll go by team, in the first period, down into the third period, the Penguins finished the game with 12 shots on goal in the first period, 11 shots on goal in the second period, and 17 shots on goal in the third period of play. Dallas ended the game with a final shots on goal tally after the first 20 minutes of 8 shots on goal, 6 shots on goal in the second period of play after 40 minutes of play. We also saw 10 shots on goal for the Stars in the third period of play. When you add that together, the Penguins would outshoot the Dallas Stars 40-24 for the game in the shots on goal tally. In the face-off dot, 64 face-offs were in this game. 38 of them were won by Pittsburgh for a face-off percentage of 59.4%. Almost about 60% good in the face-off circle for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We see the likes of 40.6%, just about 41% good from the face-off dot for the Dallas Stars. They won 26 out of 64. The Penguins winning 38 out of 64 face-offs in this one. 2 for 3, the penalty kill for the Dallas Stars is, but they are unable to kill off one penalty, which is the one that Sidney Crosby scored on. That went to Mason Marchment. Early in that first period of play. So the Penguins go 1 for 2 on the penalty kill. They go 1 for 3 on the power play. Same thing like the Penguins penalty kill for the power play for Dallas. They go 1 for 2, scoring on one of their 2 opportunities on the power play in this game. So Dallas is 2 for 3 on the penalty kill. Pittsburgh 1 for 2. The power play 1 for 3 for Pittsburgh, 1 for 2 for Dallas. Penalty minutes in this game: 6 minutes for the Stars, 4 minutes for the Penguins. Penguins out-hit the Stars 17-8. Stars getting a little taste of revenge with the block shots, blocking 20 to the Penguins' 11 blocked shots. They blocked 20 of the Penguins' shots on goal. The Penguins blocking just 11 of the Stars' shots on goal. Giveaways galore for Dallas and Pittsburgh. 23 for the Stars, and 20 for the Penguins. Stars with the upper hand by just one takeaway, 6-5. Stars beating the Penguins 6-5 in the takeaways. Time now for your 3 stars of the contest. These are brought to you by, as a quick disclaimer, on the Penguins Radio Network. If you listen to the games on the Pittsburgh Penguins Radio Network like I do from time to time, they are brought to you by your neighborhood Ford stores in Pittsburgh. Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We are not sponsored by the official car, truck, and SUV of the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is Ford. But with that said, let's bring you our 3 stars of the game. These are the men who got lucky enough to get stars in this game. The 3rd star went to Penguin centerman Blake Lizotte. 1 goal, 1 point, no assists for Blake Lizotte. Evgeny Dadonov, who scored 3 goals, which is equivalent to 3 points. He did not have an assist in this game, and was the only star of the game for Dallas. He is in at your 2nd star, and your 1st star. 4 points on the day, 3 goals, 1 assist. Give it up, Pens Nation, for your captain, number 87, Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Dadonov, and Blake Lizotte, your 3 stars of this contest. Crosby with 3 goals, 1 assist, equivalent to 4 points. Blake Lizotte with a goal for 1 point and no assists on the game. Evgeny Dadonov, no assists, 3 goals, 3 points. 2 hat tricks, 1 to Evgeny Dadonov and 1 to Sidney Crosby. Another disclaimer here for Penguins postgame on Sports for Beginners and on the ice and behind the benches. When we run the play of the game, which is a segment also run on the Penguins Radio Network, that is brought to you by, on the Penguins Radio Network, Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Follow Penguins Live on Twitter, or as they call it now, X. I still call it Twitter, at Penguins Live, or follow the radio station for the Penguins at 1059 The X. And just to be clear, that's the word the and then the letter X. Just to be clear. If you have questions or concerns about your gambling or somebody close to you in Ontario, please contact Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. We are not sponsored by Rivers Casino, but again, that is Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. And if you have a gambling problem in the United States, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. The play of the game for us, as we are not sponsored by that, is, for me, well, if we had a guest on the show, we would give them the floor for the play of the game, but I'm going to go ahead and run it myself. And our play of the game for this one, I got to go to goal number 3. Now, if you're talking about goal number 3, you're probably wondering, Scott, which goal number 3 are you coming at? Are you coming at Evgeny Dadonov? Are you coming at Crosby's? Which one are you coming at? Well, I'm going to go. I like Sid. He's my boy. I love him as a player for the Penguins. I'm a Crosby guy. But my play of the game is going to go to Evgeny Dadonov with that quick grit. It sounds to me like Evgeny Dadonov and Sidney Crosby were having a race to see who could get the first hat trick. Well, Evgeny Dadonov won the race. And not only that, he broke the tie that Crosby made in the opening seconds of the third period of play. So not only did Crosby score his second goal to tie the game, at 2-2, but Evgeny Dadonov made his third goal of the game, break the tie for the second time in the game, but it would not last long because Brian Rust was in pursuit and was able to score to tie it up again, and then the Penguins took over. All right. With that all being said, that will wrap up the play of the game, and of course we've wrapped up our 3 stars of the game and our stats. Time now to take a look at what happened on Saturday in our NHL Saturday Roundup. We'll get to this quickly, and then after the next break of the show, which will be our final break of the show, we will get into the game puck of the game, and of course the shake of the game. And a reminder, since we are taking one final break after this NHL look around, once we are through with the shake of the game and the game puck of the game, we will be setting the scene for Dallas and Pittsburgh next 4 contests. Without further ado, let's get this show on the road with our Saturday look around. The Maple Leafs blow by the Columbus Blue Jackets to beat them 5-0. That's where we are going to start things off. Down in Montreal, the Canadiens find a way to defeat the Flyers 3-2. Former Penguin Ryan Poehling, one of the goal scorers for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Seattle Kraken score 5 goals to beat the San Jose Sharks 5-1. Shutouts galore. The Maple Leafs picked up a 5-0 shutout win over the Columbus Blue Jackets in Toronto. The New Jersey Devils pick up a shutout of their own, defeating the Rangers 4-0. The Florida Panthers are shut out by the Ottawa Senators 3-0. 6-2 the final between the Canucks and the Ducks. The Canucks beat the Ducks 6-0. Kings shut out the Oilers 3-0. 3 goals to 0 to be more specific. 3 goals to 0. 5-1 the Bruins beat the Hurricanes down in Boston. In Buffalo, we need a shootout. And the Sabres come out on top 3-2. The Hockey Club defeat the Jets 4-1. In Utah, we go to overtime in Calgary, and the Flames fall 3-2 in overtime to the Vegas Golden Knights. The Avalanche fall 5-4 to the Blues in St. Louis. So we have a few 3-0 finals, one 5-0 final, and one 4-0 final as well. All right. When Penguins postgame continues and starts to wrap up on the other side for this Dallas Stars Penguins recap. What's next for Dallas? What's next for Pittsburgh? Plus, who's going into the running for the game puck of the game? Who's going to get the shake of the game? Find out when Penguins postgame continues in a moment.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Oh, that could have been embarrassing. That could have been embarrassing. Sorry, we were muted there, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. Penguins beat the Stars 5-3. That was embarrassing. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We were muted. Okay, one more time I'll repeat, but that'll be all I say. Penguins beat the Stars 5-3. We're going to find out what's next for the Stars and what's next for the Penguins in just a little bit. However, I do want to make note that we are going into the Windy City, the Penguins and the Hawks. First of two for 2024-2025. Get started in just about a few moments from now. Puck drops at 6 p.m. And that is one of our upcoming Penguin post-game recaps. But we still got a couple of shows to do and one to re-record, by the way. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. All right. So, before we get down to business with what is coming up for the Penguins and the Stars, before we get down to business with what's coming up for them, let's get into the shake of the game. I'm not going to worry too much about how it came about with you for this one, but let's get into it. And I want to remind you that you can get in all the action. You can get in on all the action by going into the Penguins post-game show interactions section on our Discord server. Link will be in the description of all Penguin post-game shows for sports for beginners. We may add them on the ice and behind the benches, but a link will definitely be in the description of the episode for you on your sports for beginners side. And with that said, this is so you can get in on the action with who you think stood out to you for 3 stars of the game. If you have a difference in opinion in the 3 stars of the game, maybe you have a different play of the game. Perhaps you have a difference in opinion in the shake of the game. and game puck of the game. As we are on the time limit trying to beat the time before the puck drops between the Blackhawks and the Penguins, I would like to initiate that we are going to do one player from each squad to be granted a shake of the game and a game puck of the game. Normally we would do honorable mentions, but because we are on a time limit here until puck drop between the Penguins and the Dallas Stars. Oh no, I should have said Chicago Blackhawks because we're recapping the Stars game. My bad. Scott, focus. Well, I guess that's what you get when you're a few games behind on Penguins postgame. All things considered. Here we go. I think it's pretty obvious what my picks will be for the shake of the game. But I'm not going to give myself too much credit to say that it's obvious. Because if it was obvious, what fun would that be? The first person to receive a shake of the game on the Pittsburgh Penguins side of things. Not sure why we went black for 1 second. I'm not sure why we went black for a second there. Oops. I'm not sure why we went black there. I'm not sure why that went black, but that's okay. As I've said, the first person to receive a shake of the game and only person to receive a shake of the game for this one is going to be the goaltenders on both sides. That will be Casey DeSmith and Tristan Jarry. Jarry with 21 saves on 24 shots, 3 goals given up, 1 on the power play, 1 at even strength. 2 at even strength, excuse me. Ends the game with a save percentage of .875. 60 minutes played on the ice. And our game puck of the game for the Penguins is going to go to my boy and your captain, Penguins fans, number 87, Sidney Crosby. It's going to go to Sidney Crosby. Stats speak for themselves. For the Stars, Casey DeSmith is going to get the shake of the game. Made 35 saves. Oh, looky here. He saw the number of shots for Alex Nedeljkovic's Penguins number, 39, and he made 35 saves. Gave up 4 goals, 1 on the power play, 3 at even strength. Only played 59 minutes and 40 seconds. Ended the game with a save percentage of .897. Casey DeSmith and Tristan Jarry for Dallas and Pittsburgh, the shake of the game recipients. And, of course, Crosby with the game puck of the game for Pittsburgh. And this was a hat trick parade here for Evgeny Dadonov and Sidney Crosby, so they will receive the game puck of the game. And Evgeny Dadonov I should have mentioned this before we took the break, but Evgeny Dadonov's third goal of the game was good enough for my play of the game. Penguins win it 5-3. They tied the season series with the Dallas Stars. Dallas winning on November the 11th, 7-1 in Pittsburgh. Penguins winning 5-3 yesterday afternoon, or last night rather, on April 5th, 2025, Saturday, April 5th, 2025. Final score 5-3. In case you missed it, you didn't miss it. I didn't talk about these guys yet. Let's do this quickly before I get into what's next for both squadrons. The Penguins were without Boko Imama, and they will be without Boko Imama for the rest of the season. Tommy Novak was also out for this game. Jorna Kopienen and Vladislav Kolyachonok was also out for Pittsburgh. Dallas was without Jamie Benn and Brendan Smith for this game. All right, we'll get to Pittsburgh in a little bit, but first we'll kick it off with Dallas. Oh, how cute. One of Dallas's next 4 games that we are talking about is actually underway as we speak, as they were on the back-to-back as well. They are taking on the Minnesota Wild right now, and their final 3-game homestand will wrap up our next 4 games for them, as they will take on Vancouver on Tuesday at 8 p.m., Winnipeg on Thursday at 8 p.m., which is the 10th of April, and then next Saturday they take on the Utah Hockey Club at 8 p.m. Eastern. All those games in Dallas at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. Where this game took place on Saturday. Dallas will wrap up their 2024-2025 season on the road in the Motor City and then in Smashville with games against Detroit and Nashville. They've battled Nashville before they battled the Penguins as part of a short 2-game homestand. Now they begin a 3-game homestand following that game currently going on right now against Minnesota. Meanwhile, for the Penguins, coming up real soon, it's the first of 2 between the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. First, we go in the Windy City at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Then on Tuesday, Penguins and the Hawks going at it once again. This time in Pittsburgh at 7 p.m. Eastern. One more 7 p.m. Eastern game coming. At home, that will be against the Washington Capitals. But to wrap up the next 4 for the Penguins, they will have the home and home, which is tonight which starts off tonight against the Blackhawks and wraps up their final back-to-back of the 2024-2025 season. Their final road game comes your way on Friday April 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern in Newark, New Jersey. Afternoon showdown at 3:30 against Boston in Pittsburgh. And then, of course, closing things down with Washington on Thursday, April 17th, 2025. The Penguins are in must-win territory. But is it really must-win, even if it helps you try to get better draft picks in the 2025-2026 NHL draft? I'm sure we'll find out. That will do it for this episode of Penguins Postgame. I am Scott McGregor. We're turning back the clock to St. Louis, Ottawa, and Florida for those final matchups as well. But should we get an opportunity tonight, we'll bring you the recap of the Hawks and the Penguins, which do battle tonight in the Windy City. But that is going to do it for another episode of Penguins Postgame. Penguins beat the Stars in hopes of starting a winning road trip, or rather winning final winning streak. Whether or not they wind up in the playoffs or miss it by a mile, we don't know what the outcome will be. What we do know is that, as I have mentioned before, I will be smiling like a butcher's dog, no matter what the outcomes are of these final games. As we speak with you now, as the Penguins prepare for battle against the Blackhawks, 77 games complete. Not a lot of games left. But can the Penguins, in these final 5 games, can the Penguins find a way to keep their playoff hopes alive? Or are they dashed and everybody just trying out for next year's squad? Penguins and Hawks on the next episode of Penguins Postgame. My name is Scott McGregor. That'll do it for this one. Thank you very much for listening/watching on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Click like if you like this video, or rather this show, what you've been hearing. Click subscribe if you really like it. Tell all your friends. Penguins beat the Stars 5-3, even the season series. Now let's see what they can do the rest of the way. We'll catch you next time on Penguins Postgame. And until then, let's go Pens. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.